Hey guys, hope you're all well. Right, this is a little bit of a catch up and a bit of a sort of go through what we're going to do this week with the GS, if all goes to plan. Unlike yesterday, it's now, what is it? It's 4 a.m. Tuesday morning. So yesterday I got a bit of running rounds sorted out. I thought I'll get it all out the way, beginning of the week. Give me the rest of the week to really get stuck into the bike. So yesterday I literally got all the powder coating back. So we got all the front end, all the clocks, the Johnny 5 clock pod, so we can get all the clocks in. The GPS unit, I can get all that in, all ready for wiring up, which we should be doing around midweek. Got the wheels back, we'll take a look in a moment. I've chose a different colour. I was going to go black, but I changed my mind just to break the black up a bit. I think it's going to work really well, especially with what we're going to do with the tank and everything like that. But yeah, I got the wheels from the powder coaters, so we went straight over to the tyre place and got the tyres rolled on. This is where it started to go wrong, but I didn't realise at that point. I should have checked, so I suppose I'm partly to blame. Anyway, we got to the tyre place. I went through everything with the guy. You can probably guess where this is going. Drive side, rotation, went through it all, rear and front. Off he went with the tyres and the rims, and then I bumped into somebody who watches the channel, so I had a good chat with them while the guy got on with his job, and he gave me a shout when they were done. I grabbed the tyres, paid up, slung them in the back of the van, and off I went. Got back here, thought, you know what, I'm going to put the back wheel in just so we can start to see what this thing's going to look like. So I spent quite a considerable amount of time doing everything to the back wheel, getting the disc on, all the drive side of things back in, everything all cleaned out, checking all the threads, blah blah blah, taping everything up so I didn't scratch anything. I was building it, and then stood back admiring it and realised the tyres on backwards. Oh dear. Why didn't I spot that at the tyre place? Never mind. This happens when there's quite a lot going on when you're building a bike. Some of you who have done it probably knows what I'm on about, and you've probably made silly mistakes yourselves. It's very easily done when there's so many parts to think about, especially when you got other people involved. I try and do as much as I can to every build, especially the fabrication side. But there's certain things that you're better off giving it somebody else, like the tyre fitting, like the painting, like the powder coating, and stuff like that. People who are set up for that are better off doing that for you. But anyway, I didn't realise till it was all built, like I say. So it was a little bit annoying. So it was a slight step backwards. But my good friend Peter is coming to the rescue later on this morning, and he's going to grab the back wheel. I shall take it out in a moment, actually. He's going to grab it, nip back over to the tyre place, get it all swapped round so I can stay here and carry on with things on the bike. So this week, I plan to get the yokes in, top and bottom yokes, get all the clock pod on, get all that built up, get all the clocks in, get all the wires sort of pointing in sort of the direction where they got to go, get the handlebars on. There's a couple of things I've got to tidy up on the risers. Although they were brand new risers, black risers, one of them is decided to go silver. No idea. Obviously rubbish finish, so I'm going to strip all of them and paint them all up myself and lacquer them and stuff so they're hard wearing. So I'm going to do all that today, probably get all that part of the front end finished. The only running bout I've got to do now is for the tank when it's done, and the chroming for the forks. I think that is all the running round, I think. There may be other bits, but you know, it's not going to soak up too much time. So yeah, the back tyre was a little bit annoying, but like I say, things don't always go to plan, and you've just got to soak it up and get on with it. Anyway, let's have a look at the bike. There we go. As you can see, we've gone gold on the wheels. The plan was to break up the black a bit. I think if I'd gone black, it would have started to get a bit too much. So I wanted to sort of break the black up a bit, because there is quite a lot on there. And I thought, you know what, I'll go gold. I had several colours going on in my head. You know, I thought about matching them up to a colour that's going on the tank or tail unit. I thought that might be a bit too much. So I'd trawled through several pictures on the internet of older Suzukis, race bikes and all sorts of 70s, 80s, 90s, and a lot of them had gold wheels. Oh, I think that'll look all right, but some of the gold was a bit bright, so I've gone for quite a subtle gold on this. As you can see, it's not too glary, and it also near enough matches exactly the gold on this, as you can see. But I think it's going to look fantastic, especially with how we've chose to lay the bodywork out, the tank and such. I think it's all going to drop into place as you see it come together. May not be everyone's cup of tea, I get that. I've said before, it's impossible to please everybody. You know, you got so many people with so many different opinions. You just can't please everybody. You just got to go with what you like and what's in your mind, what you think works. It's the only way to go. If you tried looking at everybody's choices, you'd go bonkers. It'd be great doing it to what everybody likes, but it would be ended up a complete mess if you used everybody's ideas here, there and everywhere on the bike. It'd be a right hodgepodge of things. So yeah, I think the gold's going to suit it. I'm pleased with it anyway. It's just enough without going over the top with having a really bright gold. We're also doing little bits, like I've done this little end cap I weren't happy with, because that obviously that's the spindle in there, and the spindle had a couple of little dings in there. I didn't want to turn it down in the lathe and ruin the coating on the spindle, because it would just go rusty. So I made a little cover over there just to tidy it all up a bit. It actually looks better actually with that there. And yeah, it's all got to come back out, unfortunately. Well, there we go. It's got to be right. Also, I'm going to get them to see the valve. I've had angled valves fitted. A little bit more pricey, but it's a lot better than your standard valves. I'm sure you've all struggled at the garage with the tyre pump, and maybe just put a bit more of an angle on it, over the curb and under your foot. I've never done that. I'll put just so you don't scratch your wheel. But with these angle valves, it's easier straight in on and put your tyre up. So yeah, we've gone with them, back and front. So yeah, it's coming along. It's getting there. This week, we really should start getting some progress on here. Although there's a lot been going on, it's not been sort of going on the bike, you know, things like building the calipers up and things like that, doing the exhaust pipes, tidying them up. There's all sorts of little small parts been getting tidied up in the background, ready for the main build, ready for everything to go on there. While Pete goes off with the back wheel, then I'm going to be doing the top and bottom yokes, getting the new bearings in, sorting the handlebars out, probably getting them on. I'll say we're going to get everything ready now so the wiring can be started. I think I'll be probably starting the wiring about midweek. I'm going to catch parts of that, because I know some of you wanted to know about the Motor Gadget M unit. As I said before, this is the first one I've done, so it's a learning curve for me as well. I'm hoping they are as simple as people saying they are, because that'll be fantastic. Then they can be used on future bikes. Probably not worth it on things like the Enfields, because they're quite basic anyway, and the sort of expense on these M units wouldn't be worth it on an Enfield or any other older bikes where the wiring harness is basic. So it'd probably be more on bikes like this where you'd use them, where the wiring harness is a bit more, so I call it complex, more complicated. It's complicated when you don't enjoy wiring, I know that. But yeah, so this week, everything ready for wiring. Probably a few more bits bolted onto the bike. It's hard to remember all the little bits and bobs that have got to go on it, because on a bike like this, there's quite a few. Obviously, we've got to get the footrest on. We probably won't do them straight away, because they'll actually be in the way for me leaning over the bike doing the wiring. That's probably going to be one of the last things to go on, along with the exhaust. Obviously, that can only go on when the bike's on its wheels, and we've got the jacks under it, because obviously the exhaust goes directly under the bike. So that will be one of the last things to go on. Tank and everything's coming along nicely. Wayne sent me some pictures. He's got it all in primer. He's gone over everything. So like I said to him, the tank has got a few little dings here and there, which he's took care of. So the progress is going nicely on that. I'm not going to pressure him, because I'd rather him not go into panic mode and think I'm in a massive rush for it. He said he's just going to plod on with it and get it done and call me when it's done. I think what we've chose, the layout and the colours, is all going to work. Like I said before, I think I've said before, I probably have earlier, my memory is terrible. The layout is very basic. I think it's just going to be enough for this bike. I didn't want to go too over the top. It just wouldn't suit it. So it's going to be very basic, but I think it's going to work really well. I'm really looking forward to seeing it actually. I think you'll like it, but then again, as I say, you can't please everybody. Everyone's got different tastes, especially with colour schemes on bikes. I have seen arguments about that when some poor guy's built an actual nice bike and people are putting it down. Oh dear, why do people do that? I do not know. I don't know. You know, we build our bikes how we like them, the individual. You know, you're not building it for the world, you're building it how you want it and how you like it. But sometimes you get a load of people jump on them, don't you? I don't understand that. So, oh, that's rubbish, I wouldn't have chose that colour, I wouldn't have had that on there, I wouldn't have done that like that. I just think, God, leave the guy alone, it's his, let him do what he wants with it. I do sometimes have people send me pictures of bikes. Oh, what do you reckon to this rubbish? And I just don't like to join in. Well, I know we all have our opinions, we all have discussions between friends about things, but no, I just like, obviously the guy who built it likes it, and it's fair enough. Anyway, this week we should have some good progress. I'm going to catch bits, like I said from the beginning. I really want to get a move on with this, so I'm just going to catch small parts of the jobs just to get this thing up and running and gone. So the wiring I'm not looking forward to, but we'll get it done and I'll share parts of that. No doubt the cars will need some sort of setting up when we do get it running. I'll be very, very surprised if that fires up and runs sweet. In fact, I'd put quite a secure bet that it's not going to run sweet. It's going to need a bit of, obviously, car balancing and stuff like that, so we'll probably go through that. I've got to get the foot, excuse me, I've got to get the forks up to re-chroming this week. I don't know what day I'll be dropping them off. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know yet, but they will be going this week. And I think it's probably all going to start landing together, forks, tank and all that business. So there'll be a final push for all the parts finished on this bike. Like I said in the previous video, I am aiming for around the end of this month for completion. That's the plan. Obviously there's other people involved that have got to do their little jobs, so they may be little hold ups. That's why I'm saying around the end of this month. And I'm so much looking forward to getting this bike in the back of the van and gone. And we're going to have space in the workshop and a bench free. And what's next, what will be next on the bench is going to be the next Raffle Enfield. I'm going to get all these bikes done out the way. So yeah, I've got that in my temporary storage. So I'm going to collect that this week actually and get it back here so I can start sort of getting in the back of my mind while I'm finishing this, what's got to go on with that, what bits have got to be ordered. That is actually about 70% finished. Most of the metal work's done on it. It's just little odds and ends, brackets, mudguard brackets and stuff like that's got to be done to it. So that won't be far after this. We've got a good flow on now. Things are ticking away nicely. Touch wood, it continues. And this has been the main problem. A lot of things going wrong personal. I don't want to harp on about it. This is why I've made the choice not to sort of do this again, not for the foreseeable future anyway. I could do further on down the line, I don't know. I'm going to stick to building, I'll call it my own stuff. It's not really going to be my own stuff because whatever I do in here is going to be for sale at the end of it. But without anybody waiting for it, I can really cover a lot more detail with the filming. I've got loads and loads of ideas in my head for different styles of bikes and different individual ideas for the different styles of bikes. I've got tons of ideas, absolutely tons of them. So I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into some of them and covering in much more detail with everything we do in here. That's the plan. And then obviously when each bike's finished, it'll go on to the eBay or whatever and away it goes. Someone can buy each one I do. And that's how it's going to be from now on. It'll be just a lot less stress. And then if I have any upset in my personal life, which I think is getting less and less, there's been a lot of problems without going into detail. I haven't talked about half of it. It's not going to affect anybody else if I'm keeping everything in here, like bills for myself. It's not going to affect anybody. If I have any hiccups and any sort of brain down days, it's not affecting anybody, which is going to be a lot less stress. And you guys get to see a lot more detail in each build, so I'll have all the time in the world to do it. Anyway, this week then, there'll be a lot more progress. We'll cover the odd jobs on it, and you should see, well, this will look more like a bike by the end of this week, I would imagine. Anyway, that's your little update. We'll be back in the next video doing a few small jobs and a few more things going on the bike. Anyway, cheers for watching guys. Catch you very soon.